if 1,000 clinics open up next year, it still won't be close. We're never going to meet that demand. And the rate of autism diagnosis is going up and up. Every time the CDC releases a new report, it's 1 in 36, 1 in 35, 1 in 32. And as a business owner, I have the flexibility to come in and out whenever I want. So I feel like it's a catch-all. I can have the career, I can have the family, I can have 25 hurdle of finding funding for all of these kids is now over. Now every single insurance plan covers it. No fighting back, no questions asked. They just cover it. And I think that was a glorious moment for the industry, but such a happy moment for parents out there who didn't have access to care, and now they do.
Hi, welcome everyone to the Entrepreneurial podcast where we share stories of entrepreneurs and their journeys. And today I'm here with Nichole Daher, and I'm so excited to have her. She has developed a franchise to help individuals teach those who have autism in a very, very unique way. So I don't want to steal her thunder. I'll let her introduce more of that. But welcome, Nichole. Glad to have you.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor.
Yeah, I'm so excited. When I first saw what you did, I thought, wow, that's super unique and really amazing as far as the service that you're providing to some of the children. My business partner has an autistic son, and my um, wife has an autistic brother, and my cousin has three autistic boys. So I mean, it's kind of it's prevalent. There's a lot of children who have autism now, which I think you talked about a little bit in the other podcast that I listened to. So tell me a little bit about your story and how you started on this journey.
Sure. I honestly was in a completely different career and didn't plan any of this. But in 2014, I got married to a man who had an autistic daughter, and I was suddenly thrown into this world that I had nothing, like no knowledge about. I had no idea what I was doing. And she was in ABA therapy, which is applied behavior analysis. And that is the number one gold standard treatment for autism. And she was labeled as moderate severe. So she didn't talk, she didn't make eye contact, she would line up her toys, she wouldn't turn when you called her name, she would fecal smear. It was pretty bad. And that ABA therapy center that she went to just rocked our world. I mean, she learned how to talk, she learned how to feed herself, she tried new foods, she potty trained, she did all those things that people said she may never be able to do. And it was wonderful. But at 7 years old, they kicked her out. And we found out that a lot of ABA therapy centers focus only on early intervention, and they don't treat anyone over the age of 6. They want to kind of forcefully mainstream kids into the school system, but she wasn't ready for that. She was doing so well, I didn't want to like lose our momentum on the
Mhm.
progress that she had made. And so I said, no problem. I'll just go find something else for her. And I looked and I looked and I looked, and they either didn't take kids over 7, or the ones that did had waiting lists over a year long. And it was disheartening. It was hard. Like, your kid needs help. You can't find it. It's an injustice in the world. It kind of made me angry. And so I said, fine, I'll just start my own. And so I did. And it kind of grew into this monster. And, after my own center became full, I was the one on the other end of the phone saying, I'm sorry, I can't take your kid. We have a wait list. And I felt like a piece of dirt. And so I realized that the problem, the demand for autism services is too high for just one person to fix. And that's when I founded the franchising company. Success on the Spectrum is the very first autism treatment franchise in existence. And we have had some more emerge just recently. They haven't sold any franchises yet, but I'm happy that this is happening because like you said, the rate of autism is increasing far faster than the supply of therapy places can keep up with. And even my franchise can't keep up. We need more, we need more, we need more. These kids need help. And that's my mission, to keep expanding until our babies can get the help they need.
Yeah, that's such a unique thing that you find yourself in. And a lot of entrepreneurs, most of the entrepreneurs I talk to say that they feel like they've been called to something. And I think that's exactly what's happened here.
Yes, it was not intentional at all. It happened to me. I didn't go out to pursue this, but I'm happy to pick up the torch and help other people start their own businesses as well, so that we can all carry the burden of this problem that we need to fix.
So tell me a little bit about where do you find the franchise now? Like, what's the state of your company now? And then we'll talk a little bit about what you want it to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now.
Awesome. So I want to start by saying that there are several very large ABA companies that exist out there, but they're all owned by private equity groups. And the decisions being made for these clinics are made with the intention of supplying returns to their investors. And so these companies are very profit driven. And this industry can be very profitable and can be taken advantage of at the kids' expense. So to have a high quality clinic, we need low caseloads, low turnover, high amounts of training. And the franchise model I really love, because 80% of our current franchisees right now are autism parents. And that's very exciting for me, because if there is a child in a clinic that is owned by private equity that is aggressive, they may kick this child out because he causes too much damage and destruction, because they're replacing toys too much, he's punching holes in the walls, and they'll kick him out. But for clinics like mine and clinics owned by autism parents, we know that this is the kid that needs the help the most. And we're going to do everything we can to keep him in and help him to get better and help him control these outbursts and teach him a different way to communicate his frustration. And so, no, we may not be as profitable as these private equity groups, but our passion and our heart and our purpose is in the right place. And we're going to focus on quality rather than profits. So I'm very, very proud to say that my franchisees, the state of my organization is run differently, that we care, that these owners give individual love and attention to each location. We currently have over 35 locations open. We have 17 more in the process of opening a clinic in the construction phase. So we're growing about 20 more clinics each year, which is a really good, steady growth. Right now, we're spread across 13 different states, which I love because we have this reach into different areas. And mostly we're in big cities. So in the future, I would love to grow to more rural areas, because these kids deserve the help just as much as city kids. And I also hope to expand our services into kids over the age of 18, because these kids have nowhere to go either. Well, adults, I guess. These young adults have nowhere to go either.
So, yeah, I think any good entrepreneur and any good business owner has a vision of the future. And obviously, there's things that I know that you see in your future say, wow, it'd be awesome if we could build, from here and go here. But did you ever, do you sometimes just sit back and think, wow, look at what I've created already?
I don't know. I think I'm still in disbelief. A lot of people are like, Nichole, you're so proud. Look what you did. And it still doesn't feel real. I know we're making a difference in a ton of kids' lives, and that makes me very proud. But I feel like we haven't accomplished the mission yet, and we have a long way to go. So for me, I'm still kind of holding my breath and trying to get bigger, so that we can actually say we've helped thousands of kids in every state, and help solve this demand supply issue. But I mean, I am proud, and I love what we've done, but I know we have a long way to go.
Yeah. So when you close your eyes and think about where is Nichole 10 years from now, what do you see yourself doing 10 years? Are you on stage? Are you speaking? Are you visiting the schools, flying around, meeting all the people and the students? Where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
I don't know if I'll be doing anything different than what I'm doing now. I love going to all of the grand openings of all of our franchisees. I love shaking hands with everybody. I love being an active part of the support team. I We have an instant chat, so if any of the franchisees have questions about anything that's going on with their clinics, I'm the one that's there answering their questions. And I love being involved. I don't think I'm the kind of person that will be flying around on the private jet while everybody else works. I can't sit still. I can't do that. It's just not my personality. So I have to have my hands in everything. Um, but I'm hoping that in the future, our CEOs not only have just one clinic, but we help them grow as multi-unit owners. And we're starting to see that happen now. And some of our OG franchisees already have their second and third locations. And to me, that's where the gold is because you've gained the experience from the first one. The second one grows even faster. You're doing things the right way without the initial struggles of understanding how to do something new. And I feel like these clinics are very, very successful and they can bring on more kids in a quicker amount of time. And that makes me very happy too.
Yeah, I think that's really good. Tell me about a time, if this happened, when you ran up against a wall, some kind of barrier. What was it? How did you overcome it?
So back when I first opened the clinic, things were a little bit different. So, if you were sending your kid to preschool, you would be paying thousands of dollars a month. We get paid by insurance. So our parents don't pay anything. The health insurance reimburses us. But back in 2015, 2016, when we were first starting, not all insurance plans covered the cost of ABA therapy. So you would come across these instances where kids with autism needed help, but it wasn't covered under their plan. And I would have to help the parents find a job or find a plan that they could buy that would cover the cost of ABA therapy. It's $10,000 a month. Nobody can just fork out that much cash every month, right? It's gotta be paid by insurance.
Right.
And so when Obama was in office, it was a huge deal that he made all this healthcare reform. He got rid of the pre-existing condition, and he also mandated that every insurance policy fund ABA therapy as a medically necessary service, which was very helpful. But they could only mandate the state-run plans. They couldn't make private plans pay for this. And so me and a bunch of other leaders in the industry went to this autism summit out in LA. And one glorious moment I had was that there's this private insurance company called Magellan that I absolutely hate. And the president of that company was there looking all smug. And I yelled at him in front of the audience and got wild applause. And it was great. It was like the best moment of my life when I bullied that guy. And I was like, "You're not paying for children. You should be ashamed of yourself." And it was a great moment for me. But not long after that, United Optum, which is a huge national insurance company, came out with this study that showed that if a health insurance company pays the $10,000 a month for the first 3 or 4 years of a kid's life, they save millions of dollars down the road in healthcare expenses because the child eats vegetables now, and so their health is going to be better. They can verbally communicate when they're sick, and so they recognize when a child needs to go to the doctor earlier rather than having like something really get away from them and having major health problems later. And that study even helped the private insurance companies want to pay for ABA therapy. And that was really great. So the hurdle of finding funding for all of these kids is now over. Now every single insurance plan covers it. No fighting back, no questions asked. They just cover it. And I think that was a glorious moment for the industry, but such a happy moment for parents out there who didn't have access to care and now they do.
Well, I love the fact that you took on the man and got in his face. And, I think as an entrepreneur owner, you've got to want it. As a business owner, you have to want it and you have to be willing to sometimes stand up for yourself and overcome those hurdles and really fight for what you think is important for your business.
Hell hath no fury like an angry mama.
Yep. Agreed. So, all right. So talk to me a little bit about what are the perks of being a franchise owner in the SOS franchise?
It's a great question and one that I love to answer because I got to experience this firsthand as a new business owner, right? As a female, society expects you to run the household, raise the kids, and it leaves very little room for career. And having a franchise that allows you to balance the work and the life is really, really fantastic. So not only am I helping kids and then helping my own child, but the business is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 4, no weekends, no holidays, same hours that my child is at school or attending the clinic. And as a business owner, I have the flexibility to come in and out whenever I want. So I feel like it's a catch-all. I can have the career, I can have the family, I can have 25 highly trained babysitters working for me at any time. I can utilize my hours and flexibility to do stuff from home instead of always working at the clinic. It's really truly profit with a purpose that meets my passion. It's the whole package. It's the whole package. I absolutely love it. And the fact that I can grow into multi-units instead of just being at a ceiling where I was with my original career. It's, the sky's the limit and you're doing God's work.
Yeah, isn't that just that's so incredible, and I absolutely love that. When you have students, and I think it's important we cover this, you said 25 babysitters. Now, I know that that doesn't mean for yourself. I know that that means for the children. So
Yes.
talk a little bit about the support that the children in the school get and how many you'll have in your school typically, and tell us a little bit about kind of the day-to-day and the structure.
Yeah. So what most people experience in a, public school system is the special needs classroom is one giant room with a bunch of different kids in it. There might be one teacher and several different aides for like 5 or 6 kids. They may not be the same age, they may not be learning the same things. And it's a little bit of a zoo. There's not enough support in the public school system, and it's not the teacher's fault. Don't get me wrong, they try very hard, but they don't have enough people, they don't have enough funding, they don't have enough training, and they don't specialize in autism. And what I was finding was a lot of these kids who were, especially the nonverbal ones, these other kids get to participate in the lesson while this nonverbal kid is kind of left out in the corner because the teachers don't know how to communicate with them. And they just kind of get pushed along grade to grade, but they're not actually making any progress, real progress, and not learning anything. So, different from that scenario is our clinic setting, where each kid gets their own teacher at all times. And they're not certified teachers, so they're easier to hire these people, but they're behavior technicians, and we give them hands-on training, and we have an in-house certification program that helps them to become a registered behavior technician, completely trained and specialized in teaching autism in a nonverbal way. And then our facility itself is different in that each child gets their own individual private room. And if they are, say, in art class or in circle time or in lunchtime and they become overwhelmed by sensory input, the lights are too bright, another kid is too loud next to them, whatever it is, they have that teacher that can take them out of that situation, bring them into their private room, allow them and teach them to calm themselves down, and then rejoin the group when they're ready. And this is the setting that they need. These kids do very, very well if they're able to get the break from that sensory stimulus and when they become overstimulated. And so these private rooms make all the difference in the world. Even if we're doing a very difficult lesson where the kids have to sit and do something very intense or what may be difficult for them, this private room has no windows, there's no bright colors on the walls, there's no loud noises. It's just a very distraction-free environment. And having that one-on-one person with them able to customize that curriculum in whatever way this child learns. Some are visual learners, some are audio learners, some have to touch and feel and do a lot of hands-on work to understand information. And we can do that with each of them because we're one-on-one. So the amount of progress that these kids make is far better than what they receive in a public school system. Now, obviously, the long-term goal is to get them to a point where they can calm themselves, where they can tolerate distractions, where they can tolerate sensory inputs. So we do eventually want to transition them back into a mainstream school. But that takes baby steps. That takes learning one little thing at a time, being able to handle one little thing at a time before they can get to that point. Otherwise, they're just constantly overwhelmed. We want them to love learning, and that takes a different environment. And I think our clinic really accomplishes that.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely amazing how well you've structured everything. And I know that you have to have a good team around you. How important is building a team when you're building a business?
It is so important. And I think, we go to these franchising shows and we see all these different business models that are out there. And if I go to every single table at that expo, I will say, what is your biggest hurdle? And the answer is always the same: staffing, 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 staffing. You know, teaching children is a people-based business. You got to love working with kids. You got to have a high amount of training. You got to know what you're doing. And so staff retention is the best tool that a business owner can have, I think, because the longer a person stays with you, the more trained they are and the knowledge that they gain just compiles. And I have a super great team. Everybody, the very, very first behavior technician I ever hired in 2015 is my director of pre-opening operations in the franchising company. The second behavior analyst I ever hired back in 2016 is the director of training of the franchising company. And so these people have helped me build SOS into what it is today. And my team has been with me for years and years and years. As far as my clinic goes, I've had RBTs that have been with me for 6 and 7 years. I love watching my team grow in their career. They start off as a behavior technician, they become registered, they become an intern, and they eventually get their master's degree through our university partnerships, and they get licensed as a behavior analyst. And so we love hiring career oriented people, and we like helping them accomplish the goal of becoming a higher career path. And it's been great. It's been really great. We love our staff. And you're right that staff is everything.
Yeah, I remember I worked at a call center for a few years and actually went to another call center to train kind of this new call center on sales and customer retention and things. And when I was leaving, they gave me this little plaque, and it said something along the lines of, a true leader is not known for what he accomplishes, but in those that he brings with him along the way. And it sounds like not only are you doing that for the students, but also for your team. Each person on that team I know is so important to any kind of growth. And like you say, retention of employees and staff, so critical. So, what are some of the things that you found that really keep your team motivated and with you, other than the children, because that's the obvious reason? What are some things that you do as a leader to help your employees feel appreciated and loved and that kind of that kind of thing?
And it's a good question. And a lot of people from the older generation, millennials and Gen Xers, we go to work every day and the reward that we get is a paycheck. But this younger generation says they want more money and they would be happy if they got more money, but that's not really what keeps them happy. Um, you know, the older generation, we always talk about in training, they like the material things, they like the paycheck, they like the bonuses. The younger generation likes the experience of being at the workplace. They want a place where they can come to work and be with their friends. And so if you feel like you're working with your friends, you will stay there for a lot longer and for a lot less money because you enjoy the environment. And we pay a lot of attention to our team environment, the team morale. We do a lot of team building activities, team bonding activities. We are like a family. We all cry when a kid says their first word, and we celebrate the accomplishments that we've all had. We do a lot of public recognition. And in our franchisee training, we go over all of the things that this generation really wants to be happy, but those are trade secrets, so I can't tell you those today.
Okay. So talk to me a little bit about the the marketing of this. How are you, other than podcasts, what are you guys doing to get the word out? What tools do you use? And I don't need the specifics, but just what are some of the general things that might help other business owners who are trying to grow in their workspace? What are some things that you found very effective?
Honestly, I'm probably not the best person to ask this question. Our particular industry is in such high demand that as soon as we get put on Google Maps, that's it. We don't have to market. Clients find us. And it's one of the things that new franchisees struggle to believe in the beginning when I tell them you don't have to do marketing. Most franchises have marketing or system marketing fees. I'm stumbling over my words. And we don't have any of those marketing fees because we just don't need it. There's these mothers, these angry mamas are looking for services. They're searching online. They're going to find us. And the demand right now, if you add up all the providers that exist in the United States and all of the kids that have autism, we only meet 33% of the demand. So this need is not going to be met anytime soon. If 1,000 clinics open up next year, it still won't be close. We're never going to meet that demand. And the rate of autism diagnosis is going up and up. Every time the CDC releases a new report, it's 1 in 36, 1 in 35, 1 in 32. It just keeps going down and down. And so the marketing's not really big for us. However, we do want to market to hire staff. And we are looking for more franchisees, which the podcasts I think are a great way for entrepreneurs who are looking for a business that fulfills a purpose in their life, doing something that matters, something they can be proud of. I think this is the best way for them to find us.
That's great. There may be people listening who say, "Oh, that sounds like a really good idea. Maybe I can just go out and do that, and I don't need to sign up with a franchise." So, talk a bit about why they need you guys and why it's so important that they have your support when starting these programs.
There are a lot of born leaders out there. And here's the secret. You don't need to franchise to do this. I didn't. I wish I would have had that option available to me, but it didn't exist for me. So I made this all up on my own with no background, no special training. But along the way, I made a lot of expensive mistakes. And there was no one around to teach me how to send off medical claims. And there was no one that could teach me what was high quality versus low quality. I didn't know the difference back then. And how do I know if my employees are doing their job? Because I don't know how to do their job. So how can I, some people talk a really good talk, but don't really do their jobs very well. So having a franchise is a great way to get you profitable a heck of a lot faster than you could on your own, make way less mistakes, have way less stress because you have someone to call that has all the answers for you. And even putting the franchisor aside, having sister locations near you, other CEOs that are doing the same thing that you're doing, that's feeling the same pain that you're feeling, or joining in and doing things together. One of the things that we love to do is our community outreach program. We throw free events for kids to help the community socialize in a safe place. And we do autism prom every April for Autism Awareness Month. And these proms are gigantic. Like last year, we had 1,500 people. It was insane. We keep getting bigger and bigger venues. And it's so awesome. Like these kids are dancing around. Nobody's judging them. They're running around, making funny noises, flapping their hands, and nobody's looking at them funny or telling them to stop. They finally just get to be kids and have fun without someone trying to say no. And these things are a lot of work to put on. And so if you have sister locations and they, if there are 3 or 5 in Dallas, they can put together their efforts to throw one big epic prom. That is super helpful. And these type of things, us all coming together for the same purpose, is what makes franchising so great. You're not alone. You're not by yourself. You have someone to laugh with. You have somebody to cry with. We're all here for each other.
I think that's excellent. Those costly mistakes are a big deal. I mean, you can end up, let's just put it this way. If you want to profit faster, you really need the support of people who've been there, done that, mentors. And I took a little sneak peek at the website where it talks a little bit about the franchise fees and things. And really, it's very what I would call fair. And there's a cap on what they have to pay out. So, if I'm not mistaken. And so it's not like, well, hey, I'm going to join this franchise and then all the money's going to go to them. It's not like that at all. So I think just from what I've seen, it's fantastic opportunity for people who or can fill this need. So the question is then, how do you know if you're the person to come into this franchise organization? What kind of characteristics do they have? And also tell us a little bit about what is the onboarding process and what does that look like? And when do they meet the children the first time? And what does that look like, that experience? So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so if someone reaches out to my company either through our website or what have you, and they say, I'm thinking about this franchise, but I'm not sure, we usually have a couple discussions over video chat first, but we schedule what I like to call Discovery Day. And this is where they come to one of our clinics that are actually open. They spend a day with me, and we walk around and we see the sights and smell the smells, and you get to see what it's like inside the clinic. You get to imagine what it would be like working there every day. I showed them several different clinics as well. We go to 3 different ones usually in one day. And so we get to see different environments, some with a lot of kids, some with just a few kids, some that are in retail space, some that are standalone, some that are flex space. They all look different, but we operate the same. And that really is what solidifies it in people's heads. When you can finally visually picture yourself sitting at the desk, what the questions you're going to get for the day, the things that you're going to be doing, watching the kids run around or skate around on their bikes or be pushed around in wagons all day, seeing the parents and what their concerns are and watching their fears get slower and lower as we solve one problem at a time. But it's important. It's not for everybody, right? You have to have a lot of patience. You have to be a people person because while a CEO is not directly working with the kids, you are managing all of your staff. So you have to be a good people manager and you have to be sensitive to what they're saying and validate their feelings and in order to give them the good work environment that they need. But also it's a very busy job. Like any CEO job would be, lots of paperwork involved and lots of things that need to get done to make the whole clock work. All the little gears got to come together in just the right way. So having the franchise source support is very, very helpful. Having a good team, very, very helpful. And for all those things to come together, we have to help each other.
So looking back on all of this, is there anything that you could say, I would have done that differently and it would have sped up the process? Are there things like that that you've thought about as you kind of go back to your beginnings?
It's so when I look at my own clinic, knowing what I know now, if I could have talked to myself 10 years ago and be like, you should do this, that would have been so wonderful. I would have paid anything for somebody to help me from the beginning because I personally made all those mistakes. But as far as the franchising company goes, I didn't want to grow too big too fast. I never want to be controlled by private equity. I never want to get into a position where I'm too good to be on the support team with my employees. I don't have any regrets as far as the franchising goes. And I guess it's easy to say since no other franchises really exist, we're the only one. So I'm not comparing myself to anybody better. So it's kind of scary when you're the leader in the industry and you're like, oh, I hope I'm doing a good job by my own standards. But so far things have been really good. And I don't regret anything. I think we've done a good job. And of course, there's always room to get better, and we will. And we have. But I love everything we've done so far.
That's great. And you said that the funding primarily comes from insurance. And what is that process like? And what can the business owner expect income wise per child? And how much will they spend for the teachers and educators? And let's talk a little bit about the nuts and bolts.
Yeah, of course. So obviously your expenses are going to be the initial expense of buying the desks and the chairs and the toys and all of those things. And we get, for a full-time child, which is what we usually have, about 90% of our clients are full-time kids. They come to us Monday through Friday, 8 to 4. They don't go to school, they just come to us all the time. And we get roughly $10,000 a month per child from their health insurance. So we call the health insurance and we say, hey, this kid just applied to us. Can we have pre-authorization to start serving them? They send us back a letter that says yes with an authorization code. We have a software program that you click, 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 and makes the health insurance claim for all the services we provided and shoots it out into cyberspace. And insurance puts that $10,000 a month direct deposit into our checking accounts. Now, roughly half of that is going to be payroll because we're a service industry. We don't have machines. We don't have really any ongoing expenses except toilet paper and maybe some replacing toys or getting new stuff. But 50% of everything that you make in revenue is going to go to payroll. And once you have 7 or 8 full-time clients, all of your expenses are paid and everything after that is profit. And each center can usually hold about 25, 30 kids if you keep it at the 5,000 square feet. So it's you can double your profit depending how many kids you admit into the center.
So I'm sure there's some kind of pre research, I guess, that an individual do looking in their area. What's the best way for them to kind of get a feel for the need in the area that they're in?
Well, we have a marketing team, we have a real estate team that if a new franchisee is interested in a certain area, we do research for you. So we look at the population density. We know that statistically 2.5% of all of the population has autism. And so we estimate how many autistic kids in the area. And if there are 200 kids within a 3-mile radius that has autism from your proposed central location, and we can only fit 25, we know it's plenty enough demand to justify opening one or more centers in that very small area. And from there, we just help you find a place with reasonable rent that is safe environment for the kids. We help people do the construction if we need to remove a wall or add a wall or make more classrooms. And it's not a complicated setup, so it's pretty easy to find any kind of regular office space or even retail space is usually what we pick for this clinic. And because we're not technically a school, there are not a lot of restrictions. We're a private medical office. So it's pretty easy to find a decently priced place that you'll be happy with for a long time.
So from the time someone signs up and says, I want your help, I want to be a part of this, which obviously I think a lot of people would see the potential here. How long does it take to go from I want to start to I'm in business and I'm running?
On average, 3 to 5 months. And usually that wait happens either because you're waiting to close on a business startup loan or because you have a little bit of construction to do in the office space that you choose. And so we'll pick that office space and it takes 2 or 3 months to get the permits, build everything out, and get certificate of occupancy. And boom, you're open and ready to roll. So during that waiting time, that 3 to 5 months between when you sign the franchise agreement with us and the day that your doors open, we're still doing a lot of work. We are getting in network with all of these insurance contracts. We help you hire and interview employees. We help train those employees. We're getting all of the paperwork set up in the background, the phone numbers set up, the Google My Business, the Facebook pages, all the websites. So we do all that stuff in the interim just to get ready. And when they finally do open, the film crew comes out. We throw you a big grand opening. We make a commercial for you so you can blast it out on Facebook or YouTube or Google if you want, or on the website. And from there, it's just hire as fast as you can to support all the kids that are surely going to be calling.
Okay, that's awesome. So what that makes me think about is all the support that you have in place for the franchisees is phenomenal. And I'd like to know, and this might be a little bit tougher question to answer, but how do you, as kind of the leader of this organization, decide? I mean, look at all the services you provide, the film crew, the marketing, the helping people with the insurance, the click, 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 and now they can bill, all that stuff is in place. How do you, as a business owner, figure out the things that people really need, and what kind of thought goes into how you can serve your franchisees better?
Well, I still own and operate two of my own clinics. And so it's not like I'm far removed from the experience that they're getting. I'm not the franchisor flying around in private jets doing nothing. I'm still running my own clinics. So any problem that I have, we translate into how can we help other people not experience this problem. But also we have a instant chat for support, and we have one of chat where all the CEOs are put together in the same chat. And we all monitor this chat. And if anybody has a problem and they're like, hey, this keeps happening. Has anybody else had this problem? What did you do to solve it? If we see a recurring theme for that, we offer more training or solutions. We make new protocols. We are constantly adapting because in the world of kids, expect the unexpected, right? I mean, we have trampolines that are sentient and evil and hate children that will just like spit them out every time, like, all right, what can we do about these trampolines? They're just, kids are getting hurt. We got to fix this problem. So we come up with new rules. We come up with new safety devices. We pass the knowledge around to everybody. One of my favorite features that we offer, every single room and hallway in all of our clinics have cameras, and parents are able to watch their kids from the parent viewing room. But if anything really good happens, or if anything really bad happens, the franchisees submit that video clip to the franchising company. And every month, all of the CEOs get together for a big group video chat, and we play these videos, and we either cry with each other or laugh with each other or laugh at each other. I mean, we've had videos of bugs crawling across the floor, and the manager, takes flight and levitates out of the room in order to avoid the bug, that we laugh at. And then we've had kids that got injured or staff that got injured or had a medical emergency within the clinic. And we watch this as a group and we learn from each other. And it is a constant learning process. And so it's really great that not all of us have to make all the mistakes on our own to learn those lessons. If somebody comes across a new problem, we all learn from it all at once.
See, team effort. That's what I love about the whole franchising idea and what you're putting together. I think that just listening to you and the ins and outs of it, if someone was looking at this and going, okay, I think I could do this and I'd like to start this, are there ways that you can help them find the funding for those who have the passion for it, but not really the funding? Would you recommend small business loans, SBA loans? I mean, what are some of the tools out there for the momopreneur out there with an autistic son or daughter who says, I want to do this, I just don't have the money?
Absolutely. So there's no special experience needed. There are several funding options out there. There's FDA loans, SBA loans, 401k rollover loans. We've got the business plan already made. We've got the financial projections already made. We have a list of bank brokers that we work with. So if you call us and you say, I got a little bit of money, but I don't got a lot of money, how do I do this? We hook you up with a bank that we feel fits your profile, and we help you get that funding. And so far, most of our franchisees, like I said, are autism moms. Some of them haven't worked in 18 years because they were at home raising babies. So it doesn't take a genius to do this. This is not rocket science. I can teach anybody to do anything, but I can't teach the passion and the love for the kids. And so if we see that you've got that and you've got people management skills, which if you've raised a child, you can probably manage full adults, especially a special needs child. If you've got those skills, we can help you get the funding. We help you get open. You don't need any special knowledge. We even have a training on how to open a business checking account just in case you don't know how to do that. We do a lot of hand holding, and we don't make money unless you make money. It is our goal to help you to be as successful as possible and to pass on that success. Your business success gets passed to the kids that you're serving because they become more independent adults and have better lives because of it. So it's a win-win for everybody. You don't need any special knowledge, no experience, no help. You don't have to have $1 million sitting in the bank. Most of us don't. In fact, I prefer if you don't. But even if you did, to your point, Bob, if you do have $1 million sitting in the bank, I still recommend getting a startup loan. it helps you build business credit. It helps establish, good spending habits. But, why spend your own money when you can spend somebody else's? That's what I say.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm glad to hear that, and that's what I wanted the audience to understand too, is that there is help out there. If there's a good business model and you have the business plan in place, there are people who will gladly loan the money if it's a good solid plan and they can see the projections and the things that you talked about. And that's kind of the business side of entrepreneurship. But, also talking to you, we've talked about some of the wins and some of the fun things about working with these children and hearing them say their first word and some kind of the heart feelings, kind of that part of business is also so important to any business. I mean, I do marketing and web development and those kind of things. And for me, it's a game. It's about trying to win the social media game and get more clicks to the website and more people calling and beating Google at its game so I can get my clients at the top of the Google rankings and things. And that's where my passion is. And I feel like every business needs, the money side of it, the thinking side of it, the heart side of it, the passion. And I love what you guys are doing because you have all of that. It's everything that you could want in a business, keep you motivated, helping other people, doing a great service for people in the community, and it's so needed. Is there anything else that you can think of as an entrepreneur or mompreneur, as some people call it, that you would say, here's my advice as an entrepreneur from the things that I've learned over the last 10 years almost. What is it that you feel entrepreneurs and people who are just starting out need to know in order to be successful?
A lot of people have the capability of owning their own business and running their own show, but fear stops them. And having courage means that you're going to do something even though you know there's a chance that it might hurt. Stupidity is the same thing. So that's why life is hard. And so what I want to tell people is, if you are brave enough to own and take the risk of owning your own business, find something that you love. Find something that will make you proud of yourself, that'll get you high-fived at cocktail parties, that if you say what you do, it'll get you out of speeding tickets, because the paycheck is never going to be enough. You got to love what you do and be happy to wake up every morning and you don't feel like you're working anymore. You feel like you're getting up and fulfilling a purpose that you were destined for. And whether that's my franchise or another franchise, you got to love what you do because you want to be happy and make the money at the same time. You want that personal satisfaction out of it. And that's what I want my kids to know too. Don't just go get a job for money. That sucks. Get a job that you're going to be proud of, that you can wear the badge of honor and be proud of yourself. That's where it's at. That's where life becomes good.
Yeah, I don't think I know anyone who's said that better. So I appreciate that. All right, so just kind of finishing up here, what is the best way, again, for people to get a hold of you, to learn more about setting this up in their community?
Right. So you can visit our website at sosfranchising.com. If you go to our consumer website, successonthespectrum.com, there's also a link on to our franchising page from there if you can't remember. But the website has a ton of videos, has a ton of information about the financial commitments, about the time commitments, about the support that we offer. So peruse our website, binge watch all of our videos, fill out the contact form, and I will personally reach out and greet everyone that submits a letter of interest.
All right, perfect. Well, I will take those links and I'll put them in the description of the podcast as well. I'll also export this and put it on YouTube and share all these links with you. And I can also give you a recording of it if you'd like to put out there on whatever channels you need to, which would be hopefully helpful to what you guys are doing to your cause. I have to say it's really, I can't believe that we're almost at an hour. Time just flew by. It was so fun and interesting to talk to you and learn more about this. And all the things you said, I think were just perfect and brilliant. And I so appreciate your time and visiting with me today.
Thank you so much. And again, thank you for having me. It's been an honor.
Awesome. All right. Well, uh, for those who are listening, just look at the description. We'll have all the links there for you. Thank you, Nichole. I appreciate everything. It's just been so great.
Thank you.